Let's change it up a little bit. Let's talk some quantum physics. I'm just kidding. We're talking contracts. What is up, Finn fans? We are talking contracts. We are talking specifically, or as the people who say properly, specifically Jalen Waddle. But before we jump into that, I do have to shout out today's sponsor. That is BetUS. Been sponsored with them all season. I will be sponsored with them in the off season. They don't just do football. They do baseball. They do tennis. They do basketball. All the sports, all the books, all the stuff. Check them out. Link in the description. You get 125% of your first deposit up to $100 matched. But if you use the promo code JOIN125, you get your first 3 deposits matched. Also, they will give you a 10% gambler's insurance for your net loss if you use them for every 6 months. So go check them out and please bet responsibly. So we're going to be talking some contracts, some money, some all that good stuff. But we're going to be talking mostly about Jalen Waddle. Now, Jalen Waddle is a free agent in 2025. So this is his last year under a contract with the Miami Dolphins. This year, he's making $8.6 million. And I'm going to go into detail on what I would like to do with Jalen Waddle, how it affects Tyreek Hill, all that stuff. But there's somewhat of a trend with the Miami Dolphins, and it's not just Chris Grier, because some of this happened before Chris Grier was even there, the GM, even though some people like to think that Chris Grier, when he joined the team like 20 years ago, he had all this power as a scout to make bad draft picks. It makes me laugh. But it's a trend that has been going on with this team for a hot minute. Yes, Chris Grier is part of that trend at some point, but there's a trend. And that trend is waiting too long to give contract extensions. And it goes back to Olivier Vernon. In 2013, he had 11 and a half sacks. Cool. 2014, that offseason of 2014, give him a contract extension. The man just had 11 and a half sacks. Give him a contract. Nope, they didn't. Played out 2014, and then in 2015, he went to the Giants, had 7.5 sacks, 8.5 sacks. Sorry, 7.5 sacks 2015. Went to the Giants in 2016, 8.5 sacks, and then he kind of phased out. But that's here nor there. Charles Clay, 2013, 69 receptions, 759 yards, 6 touchdowns. Fantastic, very good. Gave him the contract extension, but they waited. And then in 2015, they wanted to re-sign him. But they couldn't re-sign him because Rex Ryan, when he was with the Buffalo Bills, front-loaded his contract, so the Miami Dolphins couldn't match the contract, and he ended up going with Buffalo. Obviously, you have Christian Wilkins. We're in the situation we're in now because they didn't want to pay him. Actually, no. With Christian Wilkins, it's a little different because they've been trying to. He wants more money than the Dolphins are willing to give him. So with Christian Wilkins, it's a little different. But the biggest one, and it's the same position, but the biggest one where it was the biggest blunder was Jarvis Landry. Fun fact, I started the channel. I started covering the Dolphins the offseason when Jarvis Landry was tagged and traded to the Cleveland Browns. And in 2016, he had 94 receptions for 1,136 yards, only 4 touchdowns. And in 2015, he had over 1,000 receiving yards. And then in 2017, he went off again. And then the Dolphins, instead of signing him to a contract extension in 2016, when they could have got him for a lot less than he started demanding after 2017, they waited. He had a good year in 2017, especially after we had a new head coach, and he went off against the Titans. He went off against the Texans. He just went off completely. So they tagged and traded him. And they got a 4th and a 7th. They got a 4th in 2018 and a 7th in 2019, which ended up being Durham Smythe and Myles Gaskin. Durham Smythe's still with the team. Myles Gaskin is not with the team. But you look at the contracts at that time. In 2016, Dez Bryant was getting $13 million. A.J. Green was getting $13 million. And the highest paid wide receiver in 2016 was Julio Jones with $15.9 million. So if you would have looked at that assessment, and after the 2016 season where he had 1,136 yards, his back-to-back year of having over 1,000 yards, you could have probably got him under the contract for around $12 million because Dez was getting 13. AJ Green was getting 13. You could have got him for around 12, but they waited. He had another 1,000-yard year. I think he had over 100 receptions. And then in the offseason of 2017, Dez Bryant was making $17 million, and the highest paid was DeAndre Hopkins making $18 million. And all of a sudden, Jarvis Landry's looking at you like, I want 16. And the Dolphins were like, well, that's a little bit too pricey. And that's the first year that Chris Greer, and of course Tannenbaum and Gase, and they were like, nope, we're not going to pay you that much. So they tagged and traded him. Big mistake. Because he wanted 16, whereas if you would have just signed him in 2016, you would have got him for about 12. So why am I talking about all that? What does that all have to do? Gotta sign Jalen Waddle to a contract extension now. This is the time to sign him to a contract extension this offseason. Don't wait till 2015. They have till May 2nd to decide if they're going to pick up the fifth-year option on Jalen Waddle. Most likely it's going to happen. Sign him to a contract extension now. And obviously you're thinking to yourself, how much is he going to get? How much is he going to, warrant? All that stuff. I don't know, right? But here's what I want to show you. I'm going to share my screen. I have like inappropriate things up. This is him. This is him right now. Like I said, he's getting $8.6 million this year. After that, free agent. So you're going to tag him, right? You look at Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill, after 2024, he has an out. So the Miami Dolphins in 2025 can cut him outright, save 11.6, or they can wait till after June 1st, save $22.9 million. But I do expect the Miami Dolphins to restructure his contract to give the Dolphins some cap space because he's taking a $31.3 million cap hit. They will probably take his signing bonus, his base salary maybe, and make it into a bonus and put an extra year on his contract, where this out will start in 2026, right? So he'll have 2 more years on his contract. They'll probably do the same thing with Jalen Ramsey, give him an extra year, have more structure, but save the cap for 2024. With Jalen Waddle, what you do is you sign him to a contract extension, but don't have the fat of his contract take effect until 2026 and beyond, when, drumroll please, he becomes the number 1 wide receiver of the Miami Dolphins. Right now, he's not the number 1 receiver of the Dolphins. It is Tyreek Hill. But you sign him to a contract extension. You give him like 4 to 5 years. You can even lower his cap hit this year, which is $8.6 million. You don't really need to, but lower it to like 5, right? Then next year, give him like 12. So, him and Tyreek Hill isn't still a ridiculous amount of money. And then when Tyreek Hill is gone in 2026, which, again, Tyreek Hill is not getting any younger, and he said he wants to retire in 2 years, and there's a lot of this stuff going on. All of a sudden, Jalen Waddle is the number 1 wide receiver for the Miami Dolphins, and he's paid like one. It is that simple, and that's how they should do it. They need to stop waiting to sign these talented players that the Dolphins have, and then eventually letting them go. Letting them test the waters and then having them not come back. Because again, we have the Christian Wilkins situation where they're trying to sign him, but he wants more money. And then all of a sudden he has a 9-sack season and he's going to want to be the top guy. I'll talk about the Christian Wilkins situation a little bit more in another video, maybe the resign cut video, or I'm doing a resign and a cut. I got so many videos planned for you guys. But I find it funny that there's guys who don't deserve contract extensions, a.k.a. Jesse Davis, that get them too early. Like Devontae Parker had a 1,000 year receiving year in 2019. It was a good year. He got a contract extension. That one didn't really kill the bank. They actually were really smart with that. But it's like Jesse Davis got a contract extension. You look at other guys who get contract extensions before they really deserve them. And then you look at guys who don't, that do. Like I said, Olivier Vernon, Charles Clay, Jarvis Landry, Christian Wilkins. Don't mess this up. sign Jalen Waddle to a contract extension. When he gets the fat of his contract, when he starts to get paid, I'm going to look up what top receivers are making right now in the NFL. Because we all know how much Tyreek Hill is making. So Keenan Allen's getting $34 million. Mike Williams is getting $32 million. And then Tyreek is getting $31 million in 2024. Cooper Kupp is getting 29. Debo is getting 28. That's crazy. In 2017, the top receiver was DeAndre Hopkins getting 18. And now the top receiver is Keenan Allen making $34.7 million. That's ridiculous. Devontae Adams is getting 25. DK Metcalf is getting 24. So you'll probably have it be around 20 million, give or take, have that hit in 2026 when we don't have Tyreek anymore. Either he gets traded or what, but 2-year window. And then Waddle, this is your team, man. Because we saw what the Dolphins did with just Jalen Waddle against the New York Jets. And I got a lot of people want to poo-poo the Jets. Just have a good defense with Sauce Gardner back there, with, Quinnen Williams up front. That defense isn't anything to laugh about. And the Dolphins took care of business, especially Jalen Waddle. So stop waiting. Stop dragging your feet, Miami. Do what you need to do and sign Jalen Waddle to a contract extension. But it's not just Waddle. It's Phillips, it's Holland, all of these guys. You can sign them to contract extensions, lower their cap space, and have them for the longevity of their years. And backload their contracts, because these are the future of the team. Because we were talking about Jalen Waddle, but again, Jalen Phillips, he's due a new contract. He's making $4 million this year. Then he's a free agent. You got to get him under the books. Or you're going to pick up his 5th-year option on a pass rusher. On Holland, you can't pick up his 5th-year option because he was a 2nd-round pick. He's making $2 million this year. Put some more years on his contract. This is the year to do it. Don't wait till next year where you can't pick up the 5th year of Javon Holland and you're forced to pick up the 5th year of Jalen Phillips and Jalen Waddle. Get them under contract, make the contract smart, and that's the nucleus you build around. Your wide receiver, your pass rusher, your safety. Cam Smith pans out, even better. All of a sudden, you have the nucleus of a team to build around and continue to get better. Devon Achane already started panning out. He continues to get well. You got the running back, the wide receiver, the pass rusher, the corner possibly. And see what I'm saying? Like, this is where drafting well does well. And we haven't lately. But we did with Phillips, Waddle, and Holland. You got to pay them. You got to keep them because that's the core of your team on offense and defense, especially with Devon Achane and Tua Tagovailoa if he continues to do better and gets over that hump next year. Comment below, let me know what you think. Do you think it's time to give these guys a contract extension in Jalen Waddle, Phillips, and Holland? Or do you wait and see if they can develop? Do you wait on Phillips to see if he could stay healthy? Do you wait on Holland to see how he performs in this new Anthony Weaver defense? But Waddle, to me, regardless of what's happening, you give him a contract extension. Comment below. Let me know what you guys think. I'll see you guys in the next video. But like usual, stay classy. Fins up.